Hi fans, Hedgewitch Kat here. Today I'm going to be making 3 different kinds of lacto-ferments. So I've already been fermenting some of the actual greens. This is really well fermented here. You should be able to see, if I get the light just right, some bubbles. That is the gas given off by the lactobacteria. And it should smell nice, tangy, appetising, umami, rather than just rotten. So I'm going to be showing you how to add some flavourings, and we're doing 3 totally different types of lacto-ferment. So why should we lacto-ferment? What's the point? First of all, it makes things taste nicer. So the actual action of the lactobacteria brings out the flavours in the food more. So and it kind of mellows things as well. So it brings it like a richer flavour, it can enhance flavours, and it can also mellow things. So generally speaking, it'll make something taste a lot nicer than it did before. Secondly, it's really good for your digestion. So lactobacteria are the same bacteria that you have in yogurt and kefir and all those nice things that are good for your body. And they are present on every wild plant that hasn't been cooked, and also uncooked vegetables. So even your carrots in the supermarket are going to have lactobacteria on. So as long as it's raw and it hasn't been cooked, it'll have living lactobacteria. And they are very special beasts because they are goodies. And given the right conditions, they will thrive and they will make your food taste nicer. They will make it easier for you to digest. And thirdly, they will make it so it lasts for a long time. So you can actually store lacto-fermented foods for months or even years, when you would normally be throwing these greens and wild roots away after a couple of days. It's a really good way of preserving wild greens without any refrigeration, any need for power, which we need to be thinking about really in this day and age of oil insecurity, and living lightly on the planet. So all we need is a little bit of salt and some clean, fresh spring or mineral water, not tap water. So let's get on with the ferments. And so here I'm packing it all as firmly as possible down into a sterilised glass jar. So I'll put this jar in the oven for at least 10 minutes. Make sure there's no other bacteria living in it. And I'm packing this down firmly to reduce the amount of air that's trapped in it, because we don't want air. We want no air, and we want lactobacteria in salt and brine. So here I've added a whole jar of chopped up hogweed stems and leaves. I've added a medium beetroot, a raw beetroot, it's got to be raw. 1 medium carrot. You can see beetroot is very messy, okay, so you either don't mind getting messy like me or you wear gloves. I've added half a teaspoon of rock salt to make sure it ferments, and I have added about 1.5 tablespoons of dill, because this is dried dill, so it doesn't really seem very strong. So that's the traditional recipe for borscht, as well as the sour cream, which we won't add here. And I've added a clove of garlic, raw, crushed. So we're going to see how this turns out. Okay, so for this one I'm doing my turmeric ferment. So I've already fermented cow parsley, garlic mustard, ground ivy for about a week actually. This is a week old ferment, tasting nice and tangy. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of turmeric and about half a cup of raisins. That makes a really lovely earthy fruity flavour. And it goes a lovely sort of golden colour as well. So it's looking a bit dry, so I'm going to add some mineral water just to top it up. You've got to use mineral water or spring water, and that is because modern tap water contains bleach and chlorine and chemicals that will kill the lactobacteria that you need for a successful ferment. So I'm just going to top it up a little bit with some mineral water and we're good to go. So for this baby I've actually used, instead of raisins, I've actually used a whole fresh plum. And that will also ferment. You can ferment fruit, and that should do the job of the raisins and make it sweeter. You can also add a little bit of honey if it's not sweet enough. So hello, for my third and final kimchi of the day. For my third and final lacto-ferment of the day, I'm doing a classic Korean kimchi. So I've already got some fermented grains. You can obviously start without fermented grains and just ferment it all together. Just I happen to have fermented these already. So I'm going to add a clove of garlic, crushed. That's my pestle and mortar. I'm going to add 2 large tablespoons of fish sauce. Some people like to add 3, but I add 2. I don't like it too fishy. Half a teaspoon of grated garlic. I'm actually going to max that up to half a tablespoon because I love ginger. I love ginger. And then I've added 2 tablespoons of honey, runny honey. You can use sugar, you can use plum sauce. If you want to go really Asian style, plum sauce is a good way to go. And last but not least, the most hot chili paste. 2 big tablespoons in there. That's what makes it truly Korean. Gochujang hot chili paste. You can also use chili flakes. It's a particular type of chili that is quite sort of mild. It's not mild, but it's milder than other chilies. And it's got that umami sort of flavour, especially since we've added the fish sauce. So I'm going to mix this in with our lacto-fermented wild greens. So the Korean kimchi ferment, I've fermented these greens for the longest, about a week. You can really, they've got a massively rich and tangy scent. Not smelling bad, not smelling off or icky. Really tangy, kind of earthy as well. Just, So I'm going to pop this back in to ferment some more with the fish sauce and the gochujang. So I'm making another common hogweeds, lacto-ferment. And this is just going to be a straight lacto-ferment. So I'm just going to add salt to my chopped up hogweed stems and leaves. Good thing to know about hogweeds, it's best to wash your hands after you've been chopping and crushing the hogweed or cutting it, because it does contain phytoreactive substances. It's phytotoxic. Common hogweed in a small way, it's larger cousin giant hogweed in a big way, as in it will give you ruddy blisters and quite bad burns that last for a long time. So the common hogweed is not so toxic. It has quite low levels of phytotoxins in. But even so, we want to wash our hands after we've been chopping it, because it can make your hands a bit sore if you're quite sensitive.